setting, a generic high school in Anytown, USA. We've all seen it before 1,000 times, in movies and on TV. We most likely even attended one ourselves at some point.
We also already know who goes to this school.
We have the princess and her greater-than-thou ways. She is all that for sure. Half the school wants to be her, and the other half wants to date her, and she knows it too.
And the classic nerd. When we see them on screen, we all feel sorry for them, but not when we interact with them in high school. Maybe deep down we had the growing realization that they may be our employer down the road. Best to get our future paybacks in now while their power is limited.
And what would a school be without the jock? Their leadership on the field translates perfectly to a leadership role in the school. Not in school government, though, no, but certainly in the true hierarchy of just what drives the school and its students.
The rebel/criminal, fighting against the system at every step of the way. They will not have the rules of school or of society thrust upon them. No way. They also get the distinction of being able to move mostly outside of the other groups. The nerds fear them, the preppies avoid them, and the jocks ignore them.
And the outcast. But where are they? Not always easy to find. They tend to stay under the radar and out of the way. There they are, avoiding as much of the rest of the school as they can.
These very images have been displayed in front of our eyes on screens for all of our lives. We can imagine this movie playing out as these characters and their lives are intermingled, either by force or by chance. What if the princess and the criminal accidentally bump into each other and discover a common spark? A spark that would be met with harsh judgment from each of their social groups.
What if the jock and the nerd are reminded that they were once best friends in 2nd grade, and that relationship strained over the years as each pursued their love of football and of math?
And the outcast? What if they actually came out of their shell and embraced communication with anyone in the school? Not likely, but what if?
This movie writes itself. You can all likely imagine it now. The only problem? This is not that movie. And it's not the movie I want to make.
Okay, Lee, what movie do you want to make?
One with honesty, about who we all are as a social group.
Narrative or documentary?
I vote narrative. Less research.
But isn't it the research that finds the honesty that Lee's talking about?
Narrative or doc matters much less to me than displaying the truth about who we all are as teens in this year, in this country.
And do you think we could get an honest answer to that question? You know, who we are, what we are?
Alright, just take a seat. And I'm going to ask you a few questions today. So the first one is, could you describe teenagers today for me?
Describe teenagers today. Well, we're a whole lot of things, really.
Emotional. Independent.
Ambitious.
Collaborative.
Selfless. Self-centered. Well, we're interesting creatures, to say the least. Tech-savvy. Technophobic. At least I am.
Pressured by society.
Afraid.
Awkward.
Insecure.
I think we're lost.
As a teenager, you're really thrown into everything really quickly. And, 18 years or however many isn't a very long time to really grasp what's going on around you.
We're very independent. Is that good?
Opinionated.
Different.
I think we take advantage of what makes us different.
Confident.
Intelligent.
Entitled. I think teenagers today are misunderstood.
Stressed.
Stressed.
Confused.
Very messy.
Bubbly.
Ambiguous.
They want change in the world. They want it as quick as possible.
Woke.
I think teenagers today are more powerful than we think, and we finally have a chance for our voice to be heard.
Very wise about what's going on around us.
And we like to think we know it all.
I mean, we're all just trying to figure out our place in this world. We're kind of a contradiction.
So basically, we are all over the place.
Pretty much.
That just means we're complex, like real people are.
So true, we are that.
Why wouldn't we be? Think about all the stuff we have to worry about compared to our parents and our grandparents.
Well, look at the big picture. What did they have to worry about when they were our age?
Well, getting married
And probably too young.
and raising a family.
Gotta get that job, to go to work, to make that bread, to support the family.
Some would go to college, but others would just go work for a company and hope that they could rise up through the ranks.
Thing is, that was so much easier back then, and raising a family and often on one salary.
Of course, and they had no cell phone or cable or a ton of other stuff that we, or our parents at least, had to pay for.
Yeah, they had it so easy.
Well, they had to worry about that war thing, right? About being drafted in the Korean War or Vietnam.
Yeah, that would be scary, I guess.
Hey, we have wars to worry about too.
Do we worry about going to war or just war in general?
Well, we worry about just being in school.
So, what as a teenager do you worry about on an average day?
What? We worry about everything. Well, I do at least. Maybe some others worry about nothing, but if so, then I bet they're lying.
Worry about how others think of me.
Fitting in.
Not being good enough.
It's hard a lot of times to try to be well liked, but also to try to be yourself.
Self-confidence, body image.
I think you worry about what people think of you.
Body image. Body image. Not being good enough.
Probably fitting in.
Parents, friends, relationships.
Trying to manage work and extracurriculars in school together.
My own sanity.
Racism. Ignorance.
Homophobia.
Opportunity.
Stress.
I gotta be honest, it's probably achieving my goals that I've set for myself, my future, and if I'll be able to accomplish what I envision for myself.
Being a disappointment to myself and my parents, especially with college coming around.
How the heck I'm gonna pay for college?
College.
College.
College?
I guess college.
Opportunity.
Sustainability. Homework.
Mental health.
I worry about worrying, like anxiety.
Discrimination. Sexual assault.
Racism.
I think I worry about, like, a lot of things in society.
Drugs.
Gun violence. School violence.
Safety or a terrible tragedy happening randomly. My health.
Global warming.
Climate change.
War.
Homelessness.
Ignorance. Homophobia, transphobia, any kind of phobia.
Politicians.
Freedom.
Politicians.
Gas being far too expensive.
I worry about going home because my parents are really super strict. So I don't know what they're gonna freak out at me that day, you know? So.
Ignorance.
Finding love.
Think that's enough worries?
Yeah, I think so.
So what do we do about these concerns?
Same as our grandparents did in the 60s. Make our voices heard.
Say what you want, they got a lot accomplished. At least they made a ton of progress from where they started.
They did. Civil rights.
Equal rights.
We got the voting age from 21 to 18.
I def have to get on that. As a group, I mean.
That's great and all, but how do you make your voices heard by people that act as though you don't have the right to speak it?
Okay, so you're saying the heart of the issue is that we can voice our opinions all we want, but the powers that be decide whether or not that amounts to much.
Yeah, in general, and on the grand scheme of things, it does feel like our voices aren't heard.
And not taken seriously.
We just have to find a way to make our thoughts and ideas respected.
Good luck with that, right?
I don't know. As the saying goes, communication is key.
Should be easy then.
Communicating is what we all do.
That's it then. We formulate our ideas and present them to the adults.
We all ready? Quiet on set. Roll video.
Rolling.
Stand by, music and video. Cue music and video in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Camera 2, zoom to host. Play graphic. Cue talent.
Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Underage Thinking. At the risk of calling this a very special episode, we're going to change our normal format quite a bit. These days, you hear a lot about how the older generation doesn't understand us teenagers. And to tell you the truth, we don't always get you either. But in the interest of opening up the lines of communication and understanding, we would like to present our side of the situation. And to do so, we have 10 representative teenagers. Panel.
Jesse.
Chris.
Drew.
Dale.
Corey.
Morgan.
Frankie.
Jamie.
Sam. Nikki.
And I'm Lee. In light of current and promising movement toward opening up the lines of discussion between generations, we have put a lot of research into what to present. As an editorial, we admit this is coming strictly from our point of view.
But it kind of was our only choice. I mean, what other point of view do we have?
Exactly. We feel it may be helpful to tell you what we want.
What we need. Adults, try not to think of this as a list of demands.
Although it kind of is.
Well, let's put a positive spin on it. Call it a Bill of Rights. We can all get behind that, right?
We do think that adults will appreciate that approach.
Okay, Teenage Bill of Rights?
In the interest of historical precedence, let's make it 10. Jesse, would you like to start?
Sure. Number 1, we want the right to have our childhood be forgotten.
Now, this doesn't mean that you have to get rid of the old pics or embarrassing videos, but we just don't want to be treated as children.
Yeah, you want us to have adult-like responsibilities while at the same time treating us like kids that shouldn't have those responsibilities.
Corey, the second one?
Well, we want...
Need.
Yes, what we need is to have a say in our own lives.
Don't expect us to act like adults when you're trying to take away one of the biggest things about adulthood.
Decision making.
Okay, so how about this one? The right to make mistakes?
Yeah.
Yes. Sometimes we just need to figure out for ourselves. Frankie, number 4?
The right to have rules explained and not imposed. You want us to make good decisions, arm us with the facts.
Morgan?
Not sure you're going to like this one, but the right to have fun.
And with the friends of our own choosing.
Number 6, the right to question ideas.
Yeah, just because an adult is telling us something doesn't mean they're automatically correct.
We do wonder why as little kids we're allowed to ask why all the time, but as we get older, the question is less and less invited. Sam?
Here's a big one. We have the right to... How do I say this? We have the right to be at the romantic age.
So true, because like right now is when we're figuring out relationships and like how to ultimately be in love. And I think we should be able to figure that out for ourselves.
Dale, the 8th?
The right to opportunity in education, vocation, and everything really.
And truly fair. No gender or ethnicity bias involved.
Or in terms that may appeal more to the adults we are addressing, regardless of sex, race, color, or creed. Jamie, the 9th?
Well, and this may sound heady, but we need the right to struggle towards our own philosophy in life. Whether you like it or not, we are the future, just as you were the future when you were our age. We need to figure out what it is that we find important and figure out the causes from there.
So true. And the last one, Chris?
It's an important one. The right to get professional help whenever we need it, either from our parents, who, after all, are professional adults, or from other professionals in the community.
And there you have it, all 10, ratified by your teenagers here on this stage. Are these demands excessive? We hope not. And really think back to when you were our age. Did you not ask the same thing from your parents, and them from theirs? We all up here think so, since...
Spoiler alert.
Yes, spoiler alert. We have to come clean now, because we did not write this Teenage Bill of Rights. We simply unearthed them. They were first published January 7th, 1945 in the New York Times, from our teenaged grandparents to the adults of their day. It seems we have all always wanted the same things. And while we're not quite sure where this crossover from us into you happens, the sooner we get the lines of communication open, the better. That's our piece. Join us next week, where we'll have 10 adults for their rebuttal. Thank you, and have a great night.
Music up.
So there you have it, our thesis on the state of the American teenager today. In closing, we will leave you with this. The only way for us to become the best future you is by being allowed to be the best current us. Cut.